What's good, YouTube? I am joined by Cimo.
What's going on, everyone?
And so we actually have a topic we want to discuss today, and that's why do people hollow out their decks, and what's it do for them? One of the most common things in my comment section, which people should get a little bit, but they seriously ask this, is it doesn't do anything different to hollow out your card.
And it doesn't. It doesn't. It just looks pretty.
But here's the thing. I think there's actually a deeper aspect to this if we go down the rabbit hole that people are competitive by nature and they want the best. And that's why so many competitive players actually hollow out their deck. It's not to show off to their opponent, but it's for themselves. They're actually making it the best in their eyes that they can make it. And they're happy with it because what they're looking at is happy. And I know that satisfaction of playing a card, and I didn't like a version, like typically a common. But even if I have like this is really ugly for a lot of you guys, I like the Platinum Rare Book of Moon.
Oh, John, what are you doing?
I've played with the supers and GOAT formats, and we'll get into that later too. But I seriously enjoy it, and I don't like the common. I wouldn't want to play with a common, but it's a cheaper alternative, but it does cost more. It does nothing more for me, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, like it really just comes down to personal preference. So like a lot of people, and this is why you picked me for this discussion, like a lot of people know that like I like really high rarity cards as well. But the thing is, to me, like, I don't really care about, like, how flashy they are, like, for my opponent or anything like that. Like, for me, I've always loved just, like, card artwork and, like, card aesthetics. And so especially when it comes to, like, ultimate rares, like, I love ultimate rares. And I really just love, you know, as much as these are trading cards and, you know, we're playing them in a game, I love them as works of art themselves, like from a collector perspective, like having these like really nice looking things that, you know, if you have them in a binder all organized all neatly, it looks really pretty. And, you know, just so it's kind of like my inner collector that, you know, I can have really nice things, but then I also get to play with them too. So pretty much, you know, it's the best of both worlds.
Yeah, and here's like one I actually called on Market Watch. Photon Thrasher was back down to $28 because of ABC, and I'm like, people are going to play it in Eidolons, and so many people told me, no, you're not, nobody plays it, and I'm like, you guys are playing Wind Witch, and I realize a lot of people are playing Eidolons to get away from Zoo, but a lot of people are going to play it with Zoo, and they're going to use Thrasher as both an extender of rank 4 before they go into play, because Alistair's great in Graveyard, it still fuses, and it's also a light, like, it just does so much for the deck that it's insane, and now it's $45 again. It's just crazy, like how cards come back to relevance in the meta, and that's I heavily suggest to people, like, buy what you want. Don't go for something that you think is just because it's going to go up or down. Buy it because it makes you happy.
Yeah, like I have a friend who his favorite rarity is Starfoil rarity, and that's like the funniest thing to me. He actually has like he will get every card that he possibly can in Starfoil rarity. So like he played barrier statues for a very short period of time, and he always joked with me like, "Oh, I have max rarity barrier statues." I'm like, don't they just like come common? He's like, no, man, Starfoil rarity, and I'm just like, oh my fucking god.
I hope he got the Judgment Dragon already, because I know it's a prize card. They actually have BATT prize cards back in the day, and JD's one of them.
Yeah, it's just like it's hilarious. It just comes down to personal preference. I mean, like, you know, whether it's like unless you want like your super rares just because they stack, but I mean that's a whole nother topic altogether.
so we see this even though like this is an ultra rare Skull Servant. We see it even more with kind of the casual player. They'll have their deck for a while, they'll really like it, and then they decide, well, I want to upgrade it. It's not just a competitive thing. But I think it's kind of just a universal thing of you have something and you want it to look nicer for you. And I do think like with the competitive players, because they do it with each and every deck, a lot of them. And it's, again, not to show off. Maybe for some of them it is. But I think it's more of a self-fulfilling kind of thing, because we see this throughout all kinds of play. Like let's go on over to, say, the Tenki is also meta. I actually saw it. I put this in here because I saw it in your feature match versus Billy. I saw it. I saw it popped out. I was like, "Ooh, that's nice."
Yeah,
but it looks really cool. It brings out an element that like the common doesn't bring out. I actually think the gold rarity actually brings out another element to this too. But then it just comes down to personal preference. Like,
yeah, it's funny. I had gold rare Tenkis before I got the ultis. Funny enough, yeah, they each have like their own quality to them.
And so, like, we go to GOAT format, the ultimate form of hollowing out, which is now just going insane in terms of price. But, like, you can have, like, well, Delinquent Duo's up to 15 now, but you can have like, I guess now a $50 deck, which used to be 30, or you can have like realistically like an almost $1,000 deck now with like DR4 Xarion being 100, Super Book of Moon, Sakuretsu's just not calming down much either. Like
Super Magician of Faith, Super, you know, Magical Merchant. Like there's just so many expensive cards if you're trying to hollow out goats.
But it's like you're collecting and you're playing here.
Exactly.
And that's what's really cool about GOAT, because it's not going anywhere. It's a format that will never really change too much, and it's kind of figured out, even though people try new things, and it's fun to watch that. But people prefer the mirrors when they play kind of for money, because everything's known.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what it really boils down to is that it shows that there's like two types of people. There's the people who just want to, like, especially at least when it comes to competitive, like there's actually no, I guess it can apply to any situation. There's the people who just want to play, whether they're playing competitively, casually, goats, whatever it may be. So they don't care what the rarities of the cards are, they just want the cards. And then there's the people who want to play but also want like the nicest of the nicest, just because, you know, they, for whatever internal reason it may be, they just like having the, you know, the nice shiny cardboard.
And the other thing is, even when they get hurt, the shiny versions still retain a lot of value most of the time. Like, if Terror Top went to 1 right now, it would get hurt, but I think it would lose maybe 50%. Like, it's nicer to have, like, the Super would fall off the map, but I think this would, like, you know, retain something, because people don't want to let that go. They enjoy what they have, even though they now have 2 extras. Like, they're still going to keep their 1, and then, like, it's also a matter of, like, well, a lot of people were waiting to get this.
What's interesting, too, is there's also, like, an element of psychology to it as well, at least for some players. Like, obviously, like, the much more experienced players don't really suffer from this, but, like, if you're playing against an opponent who has, like, a max rarity deck, and, like, you see they just, like, have blown all their money on all these really expensive cards, like, some players might actually feel intimidated by that, because they're, like, they might, like, assume, like, okay, well, if this guy's going to spend all this money on these pieces of cardboard, he must, you know, really love this game and really know what he's doing, or he must be really good. They make these assumptions. They might not always be true, or some people just might think, you know, they just wasted their money on this game. But there definitely is like a psychological element that I feel has like a minor role in the game itself as well.
I have the funniest story about that. It was during Full Power Pendulum format, one of the regionals before the YCS Atlanta, and I voted. I did on Zodiac like 500 likes, and I play Barrier Statue for my regional, and I hit it. And round 5, this guy comes to the table, and we're both X1. He unfolds a 94 Spellground. He has the $200 calc case, fully hollowed out Pepe deck, and oh man, he even Denkos. I'm warning the Denko. He tries to recur another. I actually have Valor for his second Denko.
Oh
and
wow.
He just can't do anything, and I'm able to take him down. The judge actually came at the end and had salt packets and tossed them on the Spellground. Like, not open.
Oh my god.
Not open, of course, but like he was waiting and watching, because it was just a fun game, and it went to game 3. It actually went to time, and then I won in time by actually putting him to 0. And it was crazy. So like, shout outs to him. He knows who he is if he's watching. But it was super funny. But like, I can imagine like if I, you know, hadn't played for long, oh man, 94 Spellground, fully hollowed out deck. Oh no, like I can see that, but I have to imagine that's not the reason people do it. But it's kind of like the added bonus. Like having these cards, it just feels like you have something that's a little more special. It's a little more fun. And this honestly is for you guys in the comments section that go, well, it doesn't do anything different. This is for you guys, because I get that's probably one of my top 10 comments actually, like when we talk about Market Watch.
Yeah, like, you can really affiliate it with, like, if someone has, like, a really nice car. Like, it kind of goes in the same route. Like, you kind of think, like, oh, that person has a nice car, you know, that you can attribute that to them being successful or whatever it is. The same thing kind of goes in this game. Like, if they have nice cardboard, then, you know, they either have a ton of money that they just want to blow on this game, or they're actually fairly decent at the game. So you can kind of, like, translate that same mindset to, you know, someone having, you know, a nice house, a nice car, whatever, like, you know, high wealth, net worth material possessions, to Yu-Gi-Oh! Having really nice shiny pieces of cardboard.
Or just like real life, they have terrible priorities and they've spent everything on this.
Or they're trying to compensate for something, one or the other.
Man. I do know some of those duelists.
How would you know that, John?
Oh man, I've maybe run into a few people that their gameplay was a bit sloppy, but they had the nicest of cards. And by sloppy, I mean
at least they go down in style.
Yeah, multi-format. But I think it's just a matter of being a fan of the game, enjoying the game, and your ability. Like I said, don't feel pressured ever to spend extra money just to do it, but do it if you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Any final notes for this one?
No, like, one of the things I think we can kind of end on here is, like, the way I play the game is, like, if I want the cards to play with, I'll get them no matter what. Like, I really don't care about the rarity. If I need the card to play with, I'll get the card. But if I have the preference to choose, whether it's between, like, a super or an ultimate, and I have the money at my disposal to do so, I'm going to probably go with the ultimate because it's going to retain some value more likely than not, and plus it just looks prettier added to my collection overall. But like John was saying, you should never feel pressure to like succumb to high rarity cards. Just play what you feel comfortable with and play what you personally like the best when it comes to, you know, how your cards look.
And I'll have Cimo linked down below and also in the end screen here right now.